I read this thing that said somebody was talking about how there should be login rewards for life, for real life.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
okay. You wake up in the morning and you've logged in or whatever.
Yeah, you get your daily, every time you go to a game and you log in.
500 gems.
Yeah, you get gems, and then every 5 or 10 days you get like a bonus thing.
Okay.
And somebody said, coffee is your wake up login reward. That's it. Every single day. And some days you reward yourself and go and buy some coffee. Mm-hmm. You know, hopefully it's not burnt and terrible, you know, but...
Mm-hmm.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge at the brand that I've trashed before.
Sorry. So we had some people that asked, by the way, what it feels like to have squid suction cups in your throat.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, is that where we're starting today? Okay.
By the way, I need you to elaborate, maybe, because people asked when eating live squid, and they said, "Well, how do you make it not like suction your throat?" And then I said, I don't really know the answer to that. Maybe you just like grease it up, or maybe you put a lot of butter on there, or you just hope that you can just get it down there before, which adds to the adventure of the whole thing. Like at any moment it could do that and you could be dead.
That's true. Well, it takes a lot of chewing. Actually, like your waiter, or at least at the place that I went, my waiter came out and was like, "Hey, chew." And I'm like, everybody's
You're like, "Thanks. I've been doing it for many years of my life. I appreciate you letting me know about that."
Yeah.
Is that what I've been doing wrong?
Everybody's who's like, because there was a couple of us who were trying it for the first time. Shout out to M, who has been listening. He knows who he is.
That's such a creepy thing. Like, shout out to M.
Yeah. But he's been listening, and he was there, I think he can also attest. Like everyone, like our waiter, our host, or like the person we were with, and then our friend who's from South Korea, they all kind of just looked at us and go, like, "No, more than you think. Chew." Right. Like if you think you've done enough chewing, chew more.
Like you're chewing a little tiny corner of the cob, like
Yeah, and like you just kind of like you're supposed to like work it around as much as you can, because they're like, you'll choke if you don't.
Do you just out of curiosity, do you normally chew corn when you eat it?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
Like we had corn. We had corn last night, actually.
I'm thinking, and I can't remember if I actually chew corn or I just straight up swallow it.
I hope you chew it.
I mean, it's usually buttered up, so it's not like it's gonna. I'm not gonna. If it's tiny, I'm not gonna choke on. Can you imagine if I choked on a single piece of corn?
There's a really disgusting way to find out.
I mean, we could just go get a can of it, and we could see if I mean, obviously, have some water. Do you know any kind of medical procedure to get it out of my throat?
The Heimlich?
Yeah. Is it called that still?
The Heimlich maneuver? Yeah.
Yeah. Are we? For some reason, I feel like is it? Do you have to get training for this, and because you can like crush somebody's rib cage? Oh wait, no, that's CPR.
Yeah, but I think that if I remember correctly, when I was, because I've been CPR certified a couple times. But
wow, I like how you just like humbly bragged. I've been certified.
No.
I used to be a doctor. Now,
all right, the show has
By fourth grade, I was a doctor.
The show has officially started. We've trashed Imaginary Friend Jack once.
By the way, welcome to the roast.
Yeah, welcome everybody. Yes, hello everybody. Thank you for listening, all of you out there. We just hit 100 downloads on our podcast this morning. I got an email about it.
Awesome.
So to all of you out there listening, that's just from our podcast platform too, like where we host. That's not including Spotify or YouTube. So no matter where you're listening, thank you so much. We're glad that you're enjoying it.
Yes, it's awesome.
But yes, back to yes. I'm not humble bragging. Every time you guys say that, it's like I'm not. I'm just like, oh yes, this is a thing that I have had to do multiple times because I worked at a hospital.
As a doctor?
No.
Oh, okay.
As a janitor.
Okay.
Very far different end of the spectrum. Not saying it, no. If you work in environmental services or like janitorial at a hospital, hats off to you because you deal with some crazy stuff sometimes.
Does it burn anything?
Burn anything?
Like incinerate anything?
No, we didn't have an incinerator.
Oh.
But I did that for like 4 years, and then I was also like the last year I was at the hospital, I was a transporter, so I moved patients and equipment around.
Like
Jason Statham?
Like Jason Statham?
Yeah. Anytime, like, one of the coolest things I got to do is, like, I got to take, like, people out of the hospital, like, to their car, like, for their pickup and stuff.
Oh, I just, like, when you said that, I just imagine you pulling them by the leg, just like, you're out of here. Your time's up.
Yeah.
Somebody else needs a sped.
That's what I would do, is, like, I'd just come up and be like, you know, my name is Jason Statham, I'm the transporter. You need to get out of this room right now, you know?
And then you'd have questionable romantic relationships with them.
Yes, I would. Just, like, either that or, you know, I think Crank and Crank 2, like, High Voltage had come out around the same time that I was working there, so I was like, my name is Chilios. Today is the day that you get out. You know?
Oh, Lord.
But yeah, no, so like because I worked there and then I was a lifeguard before that and then I was just in Boy Scouts and that was something you could do. Oh, am I not entertaining enough? I get the squeaky chair.
No, it's not that. I just noticed that my chair, I don't notice it to be this loud. Listen to this. Is that coming up?
You're like
Do you hear that?
aggressively chest bumping the mic at the same time.
Okay, well, listen, I'm just saying, I've never noticed the chair to be so creaky. Have you switched my chair with another chair?
No, I haven't been in here for like 2 weeks.
Okay, all right.
Since our last recording.
Sorry. You were.
No, it's okay.
I just noticed it was so much worse than it normally is, and it was really just like it was bugging me.
It's all good.
You know, when I drive in here, I think about the top 10 things I can derail this conversation with.
Yeah.
Like corn, chair, squeakies.
Yeah, bashing.
Yeah.
The accomplishments I've had.
Yeah. As being.
Yeah.
You know.
As being fictitious. But yeah, I don't even know why I brought up CPR.
The last.
Oh, I remember now. Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Choking on corn. Yeah,
no. But I think every time I had to like get certified and stuff and like go through the course, I think we also had a section on the Heimlich as well.
Yeah.
So it's part of CPR, but you could still CPR, you can like hurt somebody, you can break their ribs if you do it wrong. Same thing with the Heimlich. Like you're not supposed to do it on somebody who isn't choking, like even as a joke, because like you can seriously hurt somebody.
You should have told that to every like middle-aged to fully grown man that I grew up around, because they just like threw me around like a rag doll and they would like do the like chest compressions and stuff on me just as a joke because I was so small and long and gangly.
They're like, yeah, you're tiny.
Yeah.
Come here.
Yeah, exactly. They would literally do that.
I'm horrified now.
That reminds me. Remember, it was like the 80s, 90s, maybe like middle 80s to the mid 90s. It seemed like the Heimlich had to be in every TV show
or movie,
or movie, like
Everyone
somewhere,
was choking.
especially if it was a comedy. Mm-hmm. It had to be in there.
I mean,
and the food always like projectiled out like a cannon.
It's like Mrs. Doubtfire. Like that is the climax of Mrs. Doubtfire.
Right.
He like is drunk.
He saves James Bond.
Yeah, he's drunk and poisons James Bond.
Oh, right.
And then like,
do you ever think about how like terrible Robin Williams was in that movie?
Yes.
Like he was really upset about his kids.
Yeah.
Right. I get it, but. Like he should be like committed. He was also really breaking the law.
You look at some of these movies and you're like, oh, that does not age well. Like that shouldn't have been a thing in the first place.
Right.
But somebody actually recut the Mrs. Doubtfire trailer as a horror film.
Nice.
And, like I love when they do that. Like they've done Toy Story. They've done a bunch of them, but the Mrs. Doubtfire one.
one lady is like really famous for that on YouTube.
Yeah, like I think she started the trend, and then like it kind of. But
I've
the
seen some of those,
Mrs.
they're hilarious. Sometimes it's just like a face, but the funny thing is normally all it takes is just some scary music.
Yeah.
And then suddenly the whole tone is.
It's just
different.
it's just like you downshift like, or you go down the scale a little bit, and it's like, oh
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the guy who does like there's a gentleman on YouTube who does there's a I've just been motioned to get closer to the microphone.
sorry, your levels are super low, and I'm thinking about the animation.
I'm sorry.
This is not the room to be quiet in.
I can't. This is just my voice.
I don't make me feel bad because when we sit down for this podcast, I have this like immediate 20 decibel volume boost that I do. I go home. And I usually don't switch it off immediately. Ash will look at me and goes, "You're talking loud. Could you please keep it down?"
You're yelling at me.
Right. I'm like, I'm not yelling. This is just how I talk normally. It's just like, shh.
Go to sleep.
Sorry. I did not mean to interrupt.
No, you're good. I was going to say there's a gentleman on YouTube who does covers of like Disney songs and stuff, things that like are really, really like happy and yada yada, and then he'll literally just like shift things down like half an octave or whatever.
Oh, he does like in a minor key instead of a major
Yeah,
key?
yeah, that's what it
Nice.
is. And it's so freaking sad.
Yep. A lot of that
Oh
stuff
my
actually lends itself
gosh.
pretty well. It's pretty funny.
I always yes, that is what I'm going to say. I don't know where my thought. I
was going to go
tired.
further, but yes.
I am tired. I've been running wild this week with stuff, and
You've been run ragged.
yes, and I was up until about 3 last night too. So
It's
because
them video games. They're destroying us.
all right, Joe Rogan. Hey, I could put that in the SEO now. Maybe we'll get more tags.
Nice.
But no, I have a horrible work-life balance. Like I really do. Like if I'm
You say this like you're proud.
no, God, no, I'm not. I actually was thinking about it last night. Like I'm like, oh, I have so much stuff to do that I didn't get done because of the way stuff worked out yesterday. I was like, I could do it right now. I could do it right now. And I'm like laying there in bed for like an hour.
You're
trying
already in bed. You were about to go to sleep, and you decided. Did you tell me you got out of bed to work at
yeah.
the middle of the night? Wow.
Yeah. Well, it's like my brain just wouldn't shut off. Like I
Right.
can't like if I know like it's really bad about like when I'm trying to be like creative. If I really want to draw or like write or something, I'm like I can't sleep. I have to get up. I have to do something. And like usually like I'll play a game or something to like help me turn off, or like we'll watch YouTube or something like that and it helps me turn off. But like last night was one of the nights where it was just like, nope, not happening.
Basically, whenever I fall asleep first is when Jack can't sleep.
I guess.
Because like whenever I'm awake, I tend to like watch a lot of YouTube or whatever and just like have a lot of things going on just to like occupy myself, because I'm pretty sure I have ADD and I just need constant input.
Right.
And I think that usually helps you a little bit. But when I'm really, really tired and I actually fall asleep at a decent time for once is usually when you're like, I was up until 6 in the morning.
Yeah. Well, I also used to sleep with like the TV on too and stuff. Like I
Right.
need some sort of white noise and stimulation to like zone out to. Like I don't pay attention to it. It's just
weird.
Yeah.
I don't know how people can listen. I've tried to fall asleep to
Yeah.
a TV, or I've had it going on. And I can't because
Really?
because I focus on what they're saying.
Yeah.
Instead, if it's white noise, there's nothing to really focus on. There's nothing to follow.
Sure.
But usually with the TV, I'll like. So when I fall asleep, I start like. I don't know if this is just me. Can I just tell you what happens when I put my head down on the pillow?
Oh, we're gonna find out Darko's sleeping technique.
I am a side stomach sleeper.
Okay.
Which sucks because when you find a mattress, there's usually side sleepers or stomach sleepers. Those are two different things I've found out for most mattresses.
I did not know that there was like such.
There's
Like an
there's certain
in-depth-
mattresses and things like that, yeah, or pillows that are meant for there's back
What?
sleepers, side sleepers, and stomach sleepers, right? And certain things are better for those particular type of people. But most of the mattresses that I've found lately are either they're either a side sleeper or a stomach sleeper. They're not both, and I'm like I'm both.
Yeah.
That
Right.
sucks. Also, I say both with an L in the middle of it. I don't know if you do this
Both?
or not.
Yeah, I do that too.
Okay.
Both.
Both.
Okay. People used to make fun of me.
No, this is a safe space.
Both.
You're fine.
Both. Just think about if I said both.
Both?
Who says both? It sounds like I'm saying boat, but I have a list.
You've got a hand being raised.
I say both.
You say both, yeah.
Both.
No, both.
Both.
Both. You say both?
Yeah.
No, you
Both.
don't. Do you?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to have to check on this.
It's a conspiracy, I tell you.
I'm just lying to be special.
Both.
I
Anyway,
just want to be
both.
special in one thing.
You're special in a lot of things.
Both. That's what I used to tell kids when I taught school.
Yeah.
Also,
was
also
that
when
they're
they come up to
special in
me-
a lot of things?
Well, yeah, because you can't put kids down. You can't
Oh,
be like,
I-
well, you
I-
suck in like so many ways. You can't do this. You can't do that.
Oh, no, I totally
Why do you
will.
even show up?
I totally will. I'll just be like, no, you're okay. Like,
Wow, that's not a really good
It's
way to
not.
inspire those around you. The
I'm
young
not
minds.
gonna inspire them. I'm gonna be honest. I'm like, no, you're fine. You're not like woo, but you're okay.
So I used to
You're not
tell-
terrible.
So when a student used to come up to me and they'd be like,
Are we talking about our future progeny when you say these things?
no, no, that they are
'Cause I
gonna
have some opinions.
they're gonna fart rainbows to me, but other kids,
wow,
That's also a little maybe too far,
meh. Sorry.
what is that made of?
Oh, you're talking about the coaster?
The holes get smaller.
Yeah, they're. I think it's like the shrinky dink stuff.
They're
Oh.
perler beads.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
so,
kids.
So
yes.
kids come up to me and they would tell me a story, and you're not going to be interested in every kid's story because they're kids. They got
Yeah.
terrible stories. They're dumb
Yeah.
stories. Not the kids.
Oh, you
But the
stole
kids,
that from me.
Kids. Oh, sorry. Kids
I was like,
can
where
be
do I
dumb.
put my coffee?
I don't
They
like
can be.
kids. By the way, just big news flash. I'm not a kids fan. I don't like kids, especially young kids. I'm not going to go like punch it and kick a kid.
I like how you had to clarify. It's just no. I don't like kids. I'm not a kids fan, but I'm not gonna kick one.
I just want you to know because if I happen to be in the range of a child and they for some reason got kicked, I just want you to know it wasn't me. I'm just putting that out there. I don't.
Oh,
I'm not
I'm putting that
violent.
in.
Don't
against
let
children.
Darko near our future progeny. Got it.
I'm gonna.
Now, I have to also preface this because every time I say this story, everybody goes, "Well, I love my kids." And I'm like, "I'm sure that you love your kids. I'm sure your
would
kids are
freaking
great.
hope so.
I'm sure. I'm sure that you
Yeah.
love your kids and your kids are great." Having said that, I don't like kids. I don't like them. I don't prefer to be around them.
I imagine like you you're hanging out with somebody and they're like, "Oh, I have to pick up my kid from daycare," and you're like, "Oh no, we can't do that. We can't be friends
I have to
anymore."
leave right now.
I mean, I'm not. I'm not gonna.
Oh, no,
Everybody
no,
that
thank
has
you.
kids though tells me they're like, I experienced this change. I became a different person. Like they became all of a sudden,
I
you have
would
your
hope so.
Like when
Yeah.
when Joker, became the Joker because he was in the vat of toxic
Yeah.
liquids.
His
right?
mind broke. Yeah.
So having children
It's like that.
is akin to being dropped into a vat
Yeah.
of toxic.
Right, you come out and you're a different person. You're like, oh, kids are great. I love my kids. I'd do anything for my kids. I'm sure that you would, but I'm just saying that there's definitely a change, right? Some people will
well,
hate
again,
kids,
I
and
would
suddenly
hope
they
so.
have kids and they're like, I love my kids. Well, sure, I don't love your kids.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like, yeah, I'm sure your kids are great. Like, like a couple of my friends have kids, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I love your kids. They're great. Doesn't mean I want to hang out with them.
Right.
Yeah,
I don't want to
that's
hang out with children.
I think that's what people
Which
don't
is probably a
understand.
good thing.
Yeah, that's what I think people don't get when they're like, "What do you mean you don't like kids?" It's like I don't hate them.
Yeah.
I just don't want to spend 6 hours trapped in a room with one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like
Oh.
spending time with myself. I like cats. I like hanging out with my cats. Okay? Because they
think
don't
we
tell
just
me dumb
touched on-
stories.
I think we just touched on a deeper issue. You don't like hanging out with yourself?
Right. So that's how deep it is that I don't want to be around others.
Aw.
Right? I don't want to be around others so much that even myself, I'm like, I could go without. Right? Cats are great.
Cats are great.
Cats will meow at you, but they're not. The story is what your interpretation of the story is. It can be a
Right.
great story that
Right.
they're meowing at you, right?
And they don't require emotional, energy or
Right.
anything like that.
Okay, I'll be sitting down watching a YouTube video
Yeah.
about this guy who goes against scammers on the internet, and suddenly the cat is on my chest just purring.
Yeah. It's a great feeling.
Great, yeah.
Yes.
It's fantastic.
So anyways, I was telling you the story because it looks like you're Geordi from Star Trek, by the way, because the mic stand is like right on your eyes. But instead of like, I guess that's like a mix between Geordi and Bane because it's like you got this whole contraption of a microphone, like just covering your eyes. Anyways, sorry. So, anyways, kids used to come up and they would tell you stuff, and they'd be like, because I used to be a teacher, by the way. I hate children, but I used to be a teacher.
I feel really bad
yeah.
Goodness forbid you ever actually need to go back
Well,
to
I wouldn't
something
teach
like
young
that.
kids. Older high school age kids were fine. I could deal with them.
Okay.
For some reason, just when it comes to super young kids, I just couldn't do it. I couldn't be like a young kindergarten to second
They
grade.
require too much. They
it's a
require
lot
too
of it,
much.
yeah.
Yeah,
Just like,
they do.
They'd be like, you are all wonderful beings
Yeah, exactly.
of this universe, and everything that you do is awesome. And you can do it. And I'm like, I can't do that. I have so much energy. So they come up and they tell you these
fine.
stories, and you can't just be like, that story sucks. Little
You
Joey.
need a teenager whose malaise has already set in, so
That's
you can
what
be
it
like,
is.
yeah, life sucks.
Maybe they're all
Just-
depressed.
just
That's what it is. We're all depressed together, and we all get it.
Cool story, bro. Like that's all you have to say to him.
Well, that's what you would say to a kid. I would not say that. They would come up and they'd tell me their story, and they'd be like, oh, that's...
I'm not gonna put like a kid down like that. But
See, I hate kids, and I won't do that. I'll be like, oh, that's really interesting. That's a really good story. Wow. So then they feel good about themselves, but deep down, I'm
they
like, that
don't have
story sucks.
they don't
because
understand
don't-
sarcasm yet.
Dude, so I have a friend who
my
is
God.
training to be a full-time teacher, and he's been subbing for like ever. I don't know what it is, but it's like he speaks their language, and it's so weird to me. Like he will full-blown have a conversation with a 4-year-old,
Right.
and he is like enraptured. Like he is just like, yeah. What next? What's going on? What are you feeling? Thank you so much for your input. And I just do not.
I just imagine
I
next he just
love
goes
kids.
Crazy. I can't. Yeah, wow.
I
just-
love
I would
children.
sit there and be like, yeah? Oh, what? Wait, I can't understand you. What? What did you say?
I just imagine like at the end he just goes, all right, fetch, and tosses a ball.
No.
Wow.
No, he
Now you're
won't.
turning kids into animals by making them chase balls.
I don't do
You
it. I
don't know if you should have children. Everything seems to be red flags everywhere.
You just wait. You should hear what I'm gonna do to our kids.
Oh my gosh, no.
Oh boy.
But anyway,
Nothing bad.
They're not gonna learn how to have like your own like dialect or accent. They're gonna have some famous accent. They're gonna come out having like an Austrian accent or some made up character, and they'll talk like that.
Yeah, they're gonna sound like Tommy Wiseau from The Room.
Can you imagine?
No, look, I love kids, and from my perspective, like I say that knowing 100% that kids suck. And I think that like there's like a
Agreed.
spectrum, right?
Yeah.
So it's like I hate kids. I
Right.
hate kids, but I can deal with them. I love kids, but I know what they are. And I love kids. They're
Right.
all angels.
Yeah.
Like I'm not there. I know what they are.
Yeah.
I know
Monsters.
they will probably throw up on me at least twice.
Right.
Like
I mean, they're growing humans, of
I'm
course.
fully
they
aware.
haven't figured out that you
It's so
can't.
weird in a way of describing children. They're like I'm like they're growing children. They're learning. They're growing in there.
Yeah, they don't understand that you can't have cotton candy
You
and
know what else
peanuts.
grows
And
inside of your chest? A xenomorph.
I thought you were going to be like an ulcer, like a child, and I was like, no.
that too.
being pregnant, like I am non-binary. I wish I could just like give it to someone else. Like as much as I love
Like
children,
you cast a spell, like you
Yeah.
pull it from your stomach, and you're like, you next.
I-
Like Arnold Schwarzenegger
It's like
from
a
the
bless-
movie Junior,
Yes.
where he had a kid, and it was so weird.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I'm gonna call it Junior, and then it was
That's the extent of his imagination.
yeah, and
going to call it Junior.
it was so weird because didn't he get all of these like motherly instincts, and he was being it was so weird because
It was like a remake of Mr. Mom, right?
with Michael Keaton.
Yes.
Oh my god. Whoa. Sorry. I just, like,
Did you just break my
I
chair?
just like smashed the chair with my hand.
Apparently, kids
Mr.
enrage you so much that even fake ones from a movie you have to break chairs
So I
over.
was reading about how Michael Keaton like was amazing right around the time of Mr. Mom, all the way up through was it Batman? But he did something. What was the he worked on a few things right after that. up through almost before Multiplicity came out.
Yeah.
But I forgot how freaking amazing this guy was. Michael Keaton's awesome.
He is.
And Beetlejuice was like the height of this, but he wasn't doing so well, and he didn't want to take any roles that were going to pigeonhole him in as the buddy guy, because him and Henry Winkler were in the movie where they were the guys worked the morgue overnight.
Yeah. I don't remember the name of it, but
but he was like the buddy. He was like the silly
he's the co-star.
Guy.
Yeah.
But he didn't want to do their movie where he was going to be that guy again.
Right.
Which I think is why he turned down Splash. I can't remember if that's the reason why he turned it down.
Possibly.
Because he didn't want to
He
pigeonhole
wanted
himself.
to be the leading man.
Yeah. And then he worked on some other things, but he went to Beetlejuice where he was able to they
let loose.
They said, "Hey, do your thing." And then he did the whole thing with the makeup, which helped him kind of be a bit more other than that.
Yeah, he got more into it.
Yeah.
And,
You said Michael Keaton, and I just read this article about it, and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
This is amazing, because I love Michael Keaton.
I am so excited that he's coming back into the Batman universe. Like, they announced that he's going to be part of like this new rebranding, revamping, or whatever that they're doing.
Again?
Yeah, again.
Well, because the DC, let's face it, as good as Wonder Woman is, as good as Aquaman knew exactly what it was and had fun with it.
It was so The Little Mermaid.
But that's
But
because
with biceps.
yeah, that's what James Wan, like James Wan knows what films are. Like that's why he like, you know, he's the guy who gave us like part of the co-directors of, I think, Saw, and he's done like The Conjuring and all these like horror movies, and he's good at it. Like,
right.
That is so funny to me. Like someone who's worked on like horror movies and like thrillers and stuff, and then Disney.
Yeah. Well, like, and in between he did Fast 7, which was like, you know, he did one of the Fast and Furious movies, the one that like the one that Paul Walker like unfortunately passed away like during the middle of, like, he did that movie. And like the end of that movie, like the way they did it, it's like if you were following the Fast series, you know, like I grew up with that series. I was in the theater at the end of that movie just like, I can't do this. I saw it, like, I made sure I waited like 3 weeks into the runtime so nobody else was going to be in the theater. I saw it like in the middle of the day because I knew.
Were you emotional during this movie?
During the end, yeah.
I've never seen any of them after the first one.
Well, like that was one of the
Same here.
that was one of the first Fast and the Furious was one of the first movies that I really got into.
Sorry, it was called The Fast and the Furious.
The first one?
No. Oh,
yeah.
No, there was the 6th or 7th one was called Fast and Furious.
That's number 4.
Oh, sorry.
So it's
exactly, and that proves my point. Exactly.
Yeah, it's the Fast and the Furious, Too Fast, Too Furious, which is horrible. Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift, which is meh. Fast and Furious, Fast 5, Fast 6, Fast 7, and Fast 8, and then Hobbs and Shaw.
It's like they figured out we should
I
number
saw that
them.
one.
Yeah.
Because it's really confusing.
Yeah.
You know, like Rambo.
Exactly. But yeah, like I grew up with those movies. Like that was one of the first, like, I'm not into like cars all that much, but like that series of movies made me like,
It moved you.
I was like, I like cars now, and these characters are fun, and I knew they were like just dumb fun movies, but they were like something I would watch with my friends, you know? And then, so like I knew like who Paul Walker was, I knew like I'd seen a couple of his other movies, and then like I heard he passed away during the middle of it, and I'm like, oh, that really sucks, you know? I wasn't emotional about it, you know? I was just like, that really sucks. He was actually a really good actor, and I also met I met a producer that
I remember the first one.
Yeah,
I went back and watched, and it was I think he got pretty good after you do it a long time.
He
remember the first one. It felt like really. I felt like
they were all really stiff.
I wasn't in the movie at all. I couldn't get into it because I felt like everybody was just.
Yeah.
It felt like sitcom levels of acting at some point. Like how people were just in there and they're just like, it's got the best take or whatever.
Yeah.
I feel bad now. I feel like I just ripped on Paul Walker.
No.
Is it not okay?
No, you can.
I mean,
you can.
He got better.
Yeah.
I just think that him and everybody else in that first movie, except for maybe like, was it Vin Diesel?
Vin Diesel's like the big star.
Yeah, he was like pretty good, but everybody else just felt like the acting was so not good. It was,
like they're early 2000s movies. Like, let's be honest.
Of cheesy action movies, do you know how important Triple X was to me when I was like 11.
You mean
or
the
whatever.
movie where they're like, "Hey,
I'm Xander Cage.
you're gonna go to jail, or let's put you in as this secret spy, and
Because
it's your
Because you're a
job."
stunt man.
I like the part at the was it near the end where they're driving and keeping up with a missile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just flying.
Yeah.
5 feet off the water.
Was it? Yeah.
Or something.
It was flying. It wasn't flying. It was like on some kind of weird little.
Oh, was it a boat?
Yeah. It was
Oh,
like on
right.
some kind of boat thing.
Yeah, you're right. Now
Yeah.
I forgot that was like
like a water skipper or something.
Right.
Yeah. There-
It was.
Yeah.
It was just. Yeah.
But yeah, like
I loved that movie.
I remember watching it and thinking when it came out when I was younger, I was like, "This is pretty cool." And then
yeah. When you're younger, you know, it's like, oh, cool.
Yeah, you
Like,
probably
that's-
would have been like a young teenager.
This
or
is
something.
why something like that.
Yeah.
This
you're-
is why kids again back to why kids are not great because they think movies like that are good and you're like
They're the height of edge. It's like
Okay.
I'm about to be 13, and oh my god, I can finally see Triple X, and ooh, Triple
Okay,
X has
but-
so many meanings.
No, let's be.
Mom, I'm gonna go watch Triple X. You're gonna do what? And they're
Yeah,
like,
Xander Cage. It even sounds like a name from one of those movies.
No, let's be real though. The real reason why that
face you just
movie
made.
was so important to me when I was a young budding queer kid
Yeah.
is that super hot grungy Russian lady.
Oh yeah.
oh yeah, she's like
Dude.
super strong and just like
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah.
She's pretty.
All
she's
about
pretty,
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if I think too hard about the movies I was really into when I was a kid, it almost always comes back to like a grungy
Was it-
anti-hero hot lady.
It felt like the ones that were like they were like the female kind of counterpart or whatever. Like they always had these in the
the
movies.
femme fatale character.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah.
they're like real super strong and like
Yeah.
and awesome, but
Especially
they were
in
like
the-
Russian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were always Russian.
But no, especially in the 2000s and like late 90s and stuff, they're like, yeah, girl power has transformed from like peace symbols and flowers
Right.
to like, oh, they're still basically just the token romance character, but now they can fight.
They can
Right.
kick
Yeah.
butt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's how they empowered women in the early 2000s.
you can fight now,
Yeah.
but
You can fight
you
now.
can still do the kissy stuff.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
We're still going to see your tatas.
Right.
Like, you
I
can't
don't
get away
want to.
from that.
I don't want to. I don't want to.
I want to.
So-
Show me the tatas.
So when I put my head down, speaking of, so that reminds me. When I put my head down on the
Speaking of
pillow,
tatas, that
Is that
reminds me.
advertiser friendly?
when I put my head down on the pillow to go to sleep,
We traveled so far.
I put my head down and I lay on my stomach or my side, and sometimes I face the window, sometimes I don't, depending on if I need a little bit more open space, or not.
Yeah.
And I always to get myself to drift off, I have to have nothing I can focus on to, like the TV, or else
Right.
it's harder. So I imagine myself in these random situations. Sometimes I'm running a pirate ship.
Okay.
Or sometimes I'm on a baseball team. This is
Yeah.
actually a really good one. This is a good one.
Okay.
So they're having tryouts for a team, and for some reason, this is professional baseball. For some reason, the door's open. And I just walk in, and they're like, "Hey, whoa, who are you? You're not part of the team." It's always Red Sox. I'm a big Red Sox fan, so I walk
Okay.
right onto the Red Sox.
We just lost like half of our audience.
Yeah. So I walk right on. I walk right onto the field, and they're like, "Hey, wait a second!" And every time before they catch me, I have already grabbed the bat, and there's the dude who's standing there ready to pitch, so they can do their batting practice.
Right.
And I walk up, and I knock every one of them, not just as a home run.
Mm-hmm.
I literally, it's outside of the park every time. There's
Oh.
dudes, they're getting pelted with balls.
Just somebody's car in the parking lot.
Every time. Every time. So that's how awesome it is. Or I'm like, well, they're like, whoa, this guy's awesome. And then what do? I switch.
Yeah.
I switch hit. And then I'm just that good. Again. And I'm like, I can do it all.
Yeah.
And then suddenly I'm in a game. And I'm throwing a perfect game because I'm doing like these 106 mile per hour fastballs that nobody
Can do, yeah.
Or it's either that, or sometimes I'm imagining myself as a hockey star. Like nobody can catch me.
Oh yeah,
like better than Gretzky.
Better. Oh, wow, better than Gretzky.
Yeah.
Okay,
and I'm just like I'm making shots from across the rink.
Just through everybody's skates.
Everybody can't see it because I'm so far beyond. Right? These are the things. Or sometimes, I'm
this
like
is what helps you
I'm
sleep at
flying
night?
a jet, sometimes too. Yeah, so I put myself in these stupid, crazy situations and, about being the guy,
The guy.
I want to just like one day like have like a speaker like hidden like under your bed or something, and like just
you're imagining him narrating this as he's
no
falling asleep.
like as he's falling asleep and he's imagining himself. I want to like just have like a Bluetooth speaker and just like hit play, and then all of a sudden you just hear "Highway to the Danger Zone" because I'm just like, yes, let me influence this, let me Top Gun it.
I'm like, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
I don't have music usually going on, but
There
I
you
have
go.
this thing in my brain. I don't know what it is.
I
When
get
I'm
it.
trying to fall asleep, maybe it's because I'm falling asleep, but I'll try to go through a situation, and I realize I have like in my brain that I've like pushed rewind and like keep going through the same like sentence of dialogue or this like action.
Yeah.
Because my brain for some reason gets on this like record skipping kind of thing.
Right.
Oh,
And then
yeah, mine does that too.
See, that
okay.
happens.
I'm not the only one.
No,
Okay.
that happens to me when I wake up. Like what you're talking about and like what you do is like I'm usually like in the middle of something and I'll wake up and I'll be like, no, and I try to get myself right back to it, and then like I'll get like maybe like a couple of dream minutes further, and then
Yeah.
it starts to do the record skip thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
Oh, this is just something my brain does in general.
just record skips,
Yeah.
skip and back and forth. Yeah, it's like,
Like-
you're trying to go through a sentence or a little situation,
Mm-hmm.
and then you realize that you've only been thinking about the same like split second, and for some reason you can't move past it. It's like back, and then finally
Yeah.
when you realize you're doing it, then you can move forward.
Right.
But I
Oh,
can't
do
have
you-
like this fully interrupted 30-second situation in my head without it going over.
It going
and over
back,
again.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what that means. Is that something? Is that something going on in our brains? Is there like do I
maybe we
need-
all have
do I need to
control
take
issues.
pills or
Yeah.
something? I don't know.
we just all have control issues. It's fine.
Is my play button broken off of my VCR? Like I don't.
There's like just some of the tape in the VHS is like just worn down a little
Yeah.
too thin. Yeah.
Just a little too much.
It just
There's
skips
like a
over.
crack in the plastic.
Yeah, exactly. But yes, and going back to the Fast and the Furious for a second.
Oh, boy.
For Fast 7, like I said, I saw that movie in the middle of the day. Hopefully nobody else was around because I knew like, all right, these movies meant a lot to me growing up, and I wanted to like just it was probably the last one I was ever going to see in theaters, like because I'd seen
This is it.
yeah,
This is
well,
the
it
one.
was, yeah, and
Goodbye,
like
Fast and Furious.
well, and I was also like, well, he passed away, so
Oh, you just assumed that was going to be it. They should close it up.
I wanted to see how they did it because they said, well, his brother filled in for him at times, and I didn't know how much of the movie had actually been filmed because they
This is before like deep fakes and stuff were good enough to like try and
Right.
They're
transpose
actually-
somebody's face at that time. It
They're-
wasn't as great.
they
because
were
now-
getting really good at it.
Yeah.
and they
I guess it depends on what movie.
Yeah.
Because if it was The Matrix with the rubber guy, that's not any good.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about like Marvel stuff, some of that got really good.
that got really good. They really pioneered that over the last couple of years.
I really enjoyed
but-
Gumby in The Matrix. It was great.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no, it's okay.
Go ahead.
I could go off on a rant on that too, but no. So I was like, I want to see how they did this. Like, I want to see if, like, as a just like as a person who does film and stuff, like, can I find it? Can I spot these things? And like, I didn't know exactly how much they'd filmed before it happened, and I wanted to see how they did everything. And I was like, how are they going to close this story? And I had some friends who saw it, and they said it's actually a really good ending. It's not what you're going to expect. Nobody spoiled it for me, thankfully. I get in there again, thinking, okay, nobody's going to be here. Middle of the day. Sure enough, there's kids sitting like in the same row.
They keep coming. I'm
They
telling
do.
you.
They're
I'm telling you, they're
teenagers.
crazy. Kids are bad.
Yeah,
See, they're ruining everything.
They are.
They're ruining everything.
I almost had an entire theater to
This
myself.
wasn't planned, by the way. This was not planned to
No.
set this children thing up.
No.
But again, I want to preface this because I feel it's very important to say I don't hate your children specifically. And when I say your, I mean you guys don't have kids. yet.
Yeah.
We have
I'm
cats.
concerned.
We have
though.
cats.
Okay.
Oh, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do to our kids.
But
Don't
when
worry.
I say
Oh,
your,
God.
I mean people who are listening. I'm sure your kids are great. I'm just saying again, I don't like children, but I wouldn't
hand one
I wouldn't
to
do
you.
violence.
Yeah, don't hand one to you. But
Right. So, but we didn't plan all of this children hate.
No,
Today,
no.
it just happens to be coming up. Which now that we're thinking about it, it's like when you buy a car, everybody else seems to have that car.
Yeah.
Now it's like, oh my god, it's like every story. They seem to pop up.
They do.
They're like the reoccurring villain in
It's
like an old school like series.
We are in the Matrix. Like it's just it's like cool. Something changed. Crap, we gotta fix it now. It's everywhere. But
People are gonna listen to this and be like, I can't listen to these children haters. And I'm like, again, your kids are great. I just want to be clear that I'm not hating on your kids specifically. It's just the general idea
of children.
of them. Okay, go ahead.
no,
The kids are in the theater,
Yeah, they're
ruining
in the theater.
your life.
And I'm like, like the whole time they're just like they're fine. They're teenagers, whatever. And gets to the last like 10 minutes of the movie, and I'm like, all right, how are they gonna do this? And they do this really good like emotional like letting go where all of the cast members who were friends with him, they're kind of sitting on the beach, and then he runs to go play with his son and his wife in the movie, and they're like, this is where he belongs. Like, and I'm like, oh, so they're not, they don't, spoiler warning here, they don't kill him. He just gets to go home and he gets to leave the life that they all live. And they're all like, yeah, that's where he belongs. And it's, and then Vin Diesel like drives away and.
Does he peel out?
No.
Okay.
No. So like he's just like,
It's
he
emotional.
leaves.
You can't peel out.
Yeah,
right.
he's like, okay, I'm gonna leave, and he like starts his little monologue at the end of the film, and then Paul Walker, they repurposed a scene from another like an earlier film, and he pulls up next to him, and he's like, you think you can just leave without saying goodbye? And they do this like montage of how like Vin Diesel, like he and Paul Walker were really good friends, and like they were like when they do the whole brotherhood thing throughout the movies. He means it, and he gives this really heartfelt like little monologue over their montage of all the stuff they've been through, and then they start driving off, and like Vin Diesel keeps going straight, but Paul Walker's car like drifts off towards the sunset, and like in that moment, and they're also playing the song they wrote for it. I'm just like, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. They're and I just start bawling, and then I hear the kids, and they're like, is he okay? Is he? Because I'm just like, I can't do it. This is part of my childhood, and it's leaving me.
I mean, I think that's also just a really nice goodbye.
Yeah,
to that actor.
Yeah, it's really sweet, and it was like, it could have been really cheesy.
You made me feel bad about. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to
You're
play
good.
footsie with you.
Every week,
Maybe I did.
every week you do this.
Or I feel bad because I said some bad stuff about their acting.
No,
And that
no.
made me feel bad.
No, good. No, I'm
I mean,
kidding.
I'm just saying.
No.
It's okay to be critical.
Yeah, it is. It
I'm
is.
yelling at you because I'm mad at myself.
No, they're not good movies. Let's be honest. Like they're fun, but they know what they are, and that's why I was saying. Like James Wan, he knew.
I'm the yelling guy. I'm sorry. Go
You're
ahead.
good, you're good.
I'm gonna tone it down. Go ahead.
You're good. James Wan knew what he was doing when he made that movie. He's like, I know what Fast and the Furious is. I know, maybe because he was a fan, maybe because he just did his research. But he's like, that's why he's a really great filmmaker to me, is because he knows what he's doing before he goes in.
It's like Ed Wood, but with a bigger budget.
Yes.
But he also probably
it's
didn't
good.
think it was as serious. I still struggle to this day to know if Ed Wood was taking all of this absolutely seriously. I think he was.
I think he was. Yeah. I'm gonna say that he was.
Also, I'm looking over at the computer over here, and y'all have in your waveform, they're tiny, very very spaced out sounds. And then when you look at, you can tell there's three strips of from every channel. Every mic here has one channel. You can very easily tell which is the one that is mine, because it is very large waveforms constantly happening, and it is.
Actually, that one's not yours. That one's mine.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm the top one.
Is it
You're
because
the one in
I'm
the middle.
yelling so loud it's going into your microphone?
No.
That must be it.
No, it's just the different kinds of microphones.
Yeah.
Say, is that not mine?
No, I'm the one on top. You're the one in the middle, and Gray is the one on the bottom.
What?
Yep.
No. Did you turn mine down because? Wait, hold on.
No.
Did you turn
Ours-
mine down
No.
because you knew I was going to yell?
You
So
and
you're
I-
like, Crease, you're setting me up. This is a setup.
You and I have the exact same settings. Gray's the only one whose gain is boosted because they're quiet.
Okay.
And they're still coming in lower than everybody else.
That's true.
I'm sorry. Should I talk like this the whole time? Is this better? Are we getting better
I also think it's
levels?
the-
You
Do people
you should
enjoy
be
this?
in Fast and Furious.
No, I also think it's just the way that Audition records
Yeah.
is like the first track is like supposed to be your host track, so it
Oh.
shows you everything a little bit like
Okay.
bigger, whereas your second and third are your interview.
Okay.
So I like
Oh, so it's artificially smaller.
yeah, and so when I get them in post production and like I'm editing everything, I don't do much, but they come out pretty much the exact same.
I gotcha.
Yeah, so yeah, it's I promise it's not you.
It's not you, it's me.
Yes. Do you want to know what I'm going to do to our kids? Like tangents aside.
I don't know.
It's not bad.
Will the police someday show up and ask me if I knew about this ahead of time?
I might send them just to mess with you, but no.
my God.
No. Okay, so
That's illegal.
I know. I'm not going to do that. But
Wow.
No.
Again with the illegal activities.
I'm a monster.
No, you're just a bad influence.
That's true. But no. So we were sitting on the couch the other day, and we were just kind of discussing,
I
like,
say the other day, but this is like a month ago.
yeah, but we discuss
feels-
our future a lot.
It both feels like it was forever ago and also just like yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah, and like we talk about our future a lot because we want to make sure that we're planning the right way. And
Is that normal people? Do they do that?
I wouldn't say that we're normal.
I feel like I take things.
We
a day
just
at a
take things
time.
for
We also own a business together, and we don't have a lot of money.
Yeah.
So we kind of don't have a choice. We have to be very practical with
Yeah,
how we
and we
plan
wanna-
things out. And we have to plan. We can't just like willy-nilly it because we'll probably end up homeless.
Yeah, and I like yeah.
don't
Like,
wanna end up
do
like that.
you and Ash just ever sit like and you like end up in a conversation where you're like, oh, like in 5 years, kind of like I want to be maybe here. No? Maybe
I don't
we're
think
weird.
I've ever had the in 5 years I want to be here with anyone or myself. I just kind of take it.
Or maybe not even in 5
Sometimes
years, just like what
5
you think
minutes.
of when you think of the future. What do you think of when you think of the future?
Do you want to know what I think of when I'm going to sleep in the future, or do you want to know
No,
what
like
I
really,
actually
I
think
want to
about?
like do you ever like imagine like, in a couple of years maybe I'm doing this?
No,
Really?
no, I don't
Oh
think
man,
about
I
that.
feel
That's
so
very
weird.
cool.
I think about like a week maybe because I have a meeting on like Wednesday, and I'm like, I gotta remember to
God.
not miss that meeting.
I wish I had your brain.
I just don't
I can't-
think about far into the future. I mean, sometimes I remember when I had a job previously, and I actively thought I'd like to because I found a job that I liked, and I
Right.
was like, I actively said to myself, I'd like to be in this job, for 3, 5+ years.
Right.
That's it. That's
Okay.
the only time in my life that I've really actually said or thought about that. I live my life. Listen,
Do you
I
live your life
my
a quarter mile
at a time.
I think I just found the title for the episode.
I don't do that, which is probably I don't know. I guess I'm very spontaneous,
Which
in a
is great,
way,
yeah.
But
I mean, there's
also
nothing wrong with
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that at
that's
all.
probably why I really rely on others who do have that concept.
Of time.
I mean, I just obviously I
wait a
sit
minute.
down. You guys probably have like some kind of a plan, and I just derail it, and that's how my life is. It's a set of
wait a minute.
derailments that just happen on a daily basis.
Okay, so the emotional energy that children require of you, you require of others, and that's why you don't like spending time with yourself.
There you go. That's what it is. There you go. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, just too much work.
And you have found the crux of the problem.
Hey, I was gonna be a psychiatrist. Okay,
Yeah, that's true.
That's what it is. So I don't want to deal with myself, so I watch something to turn my brain off.
Okay.
You want to know a crazy thing too?
What's that?
Recently, I don't know what it is, but recently, probably in the last few months that I can think of, I'll work, during the day, and then I'll go make dinner, and then we'll eat dinner, and then I sit down on the couch to decompress.
Yeah.
And I every single night will fall asleep anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour and a half. Every single night. And I don't know why. I take vitamins. I have a good diet. I usually get a good 7 to 8 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what it is.
That happens to me
And
occasionally.
somebody
I've
said
been
it's
there.
because I'm getting old, and I was like, no, there's got to be a good reason. They said, yeah, it's because you're getting old. And I was like, no, but I don't want to be that guy. And I think back to all the times that I was growing up, and then it'd be like all of the movies or TV shows, or even my own family would just be falling asleep on the couch, and I always thought to myself, that's weird. I can never fall asleep when there's all this stimulus happening, right? Like,
my
how are
gosh.
they doing this?
Oh,
and
I know,
now
we-
I am literally, it's come full circle.
I know what I need to get you for Christmas. I need to get you an old man recliner.
Oh my God.
Just so you can.
That's why they make those.
Dude, but okay, so seriously though, in the same vein, for the first time ever in my life, I never used to understand how people could fall asleep in the middle of doing something.
Yeah.
Like they'd be like, oh, in movies they do like the kid who falls asleep in their cereal or whatever it is.
Right.
And like I always used to kind of
Narcolepsy.
like I almost I almost kind of younger me was a little like almost like judgy about it. It was like
Right.
quit pretending to fall asleep. Like
Yeah,
stop it.
Stop being so dramatic.
Yeah, like, oh my God, I get it. You're tired. Stop.
Oh my God.
Seriously. But then recently, for like literally the first time in my entire life, I fell asleep with my phone in my hand. And I like woke up and I was like, whoa, what happened?
I've done that too. Yeah, it's weird.
Whoa.
You become that person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually do know somebody, a friend of mine has narcolepsy.
Really?
Yeah, it was really, luckily she was open to talking about it. I don't know, some people just aren't open to talking about stuff.
I mean, it's your own personal stuff.
She had brought it up,
Yeah.
and I said, so do like, you're just walking around? She's like, yeah, I could lean on something and fall asleep. And I was like, that is so, like, for me to think about, if I'm out doing this and doing that.
Yeah.
Doing that. I don't know
Doing
why.
that.
Doing that.
I don't know why I said it like that. But it was just so bizarre in my brain for me to just be doing those. And then suddenly I just lean on something and I'm out.
Yeah.
But like you can't control it, obviously.
Right.
So,
But yeah, no, it is wild to think about. Like,
like you could literally be eating cereal and your face falls in it. Like that could be a thing.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah,
just so
and it's
weird
dangerous,
for me.
like, yeah.
Yeah. So, you can take something to help out and whatnot. But
Sure.
But it's like something that if you don't have that, it's so bizarre for your brain to wrap around that.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think that's indicative of a lot of things. Like, that's a perfect example, though. Is like, yeah, I mean, you just got to think about like what people like your life completely shifts with something like that.
Yeah.
Just like when it shifts when you have kids.
It's also, yeah, yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
I love the look on the look on your face. Like you were like happy, had something, and then all of a sudden you just deflated. Like, oh,
Did you know, by the way, as of like 6 years ago, did you know this? My viewers, I haven't talked about this on my stream for quite a long time.
Yeah.
So I've been letting it rest, but they were tired of me saying this, by the way. You, instead of having children all the way up through, I believe, college, did you know instead of having kids, you could go to space twice, there and back, for the cost of a kid. One kid.
Oh, okay. I was like, where are you going with this? With what resources?
like I was sitting there going like, wait, you could go through the NASA program, like all the military training, fly a
I was
space.
having trouble following
Let me
you.
see this computer. Hold on. I got a list for you right here.
Yeah, just keep it charged because it's not. Just keep it plugged in.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to find this really fast.
Okay.
I'm sorry that I didn't pull this up ahead of time. What are you using this thing? You use Edge?
No, there's Chrome on there.
Oh, there it is. It's like literally on the front. Okay.
You think we use Edge in this house? Oh my god.
You're
This house. Do
you're
we
not an
live
Edge
here?
lord?
No, God. Maybe when I was younger, but no. Oh wait, while you're looking that up, hold on. Let me tell you. Let me explain. We were on the couch the other day, and so we were just kind of talking. Like we were like, oh, we talk about how we want kids every once in a while, and
That's also a conversation I've never had with anybody.
yeah.
I
It's just-
remember having a conversation on a first date saying, I don't want kids.
I mean, that's fair.
That's fair,
just
yeah.
who you are.
It's
Yeah.
but it's crazy to think about now because I'm like, it's like, that's really investing that this relationship is
It's
probably
gonna-
going to happen.
on a first date,
On the
yeah.
first date, like, it's not even like the salad maybe came out. And we're
It
like,
wasn't even like you had good conversation all the way up to it. It was just
like, I don't want to
Yeah.
have kids. And then she was like, yeah, that's fine, me either.
Yeah.
Right? And then I remember when I was broken up with.
yeah.
Okay, and it was cited that she wanted to have kids. And I'm like, this whole time?
You lied.
People change.
It was like 10 months.
That's enough. People can change in a day. But yeah, so
That's just poor communication. That's
true.
a bad time to bring something like that
That's
up.
very true.
Yes.
Is when you're already like, okay, cool, we're breaking up.
So I we're sitting on the couch and we're talking about kids and I was like, I can't wait for like, you know, we'll be sitting here on the couch or something, or I'll be like sitting in a recliner and, you know, our kids are just playing on the, you know, in the living room or whatever.
Sure.
And, you know, I think that'll be a great moment. It'll be a great time. And I know.
No, that was my, like, the first time ever in my life where I had, like, I'm having a lot of first evers in my life lately because I have a much more stable life than I've ever had. So I'm actually able to really think about the future and stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember, what started it was I was like, aw, like, we have this one specific bookshelf where, like, a couple years ago, I made a point to get all of the very important to me children's books that I read. And just because I was like, these things aren't even in print anymore, and I want a copy of them because they were so important and special to me. And so we have this shelf that I have those books on, and I had that very vivid image of, like, our baby someday could be sitting right there. I mean, probably not in this apartment. Hopefully we won't be in this apartment.
Yeah.
In like 7 years.
It's kind of small for that. But,
but you know, and I had that mental image, and that was what inspired this.
And I'm sitting there like, and I could really see that. And I remember, I just was like, and I know exactly what'll happen. I'm just going to reach out with my foot and knock them over. Just like onto their side.
Oh my God.
Like I'm gonna. It's gonna be this picture perfect moment, and I'm just gonna be like, no. I'm just gonna I'm not gonna kick them. I'm just gonna gently apply pressure until they fall over.
That's something I feel like I would say, but you're the one who wants to have kids eventually, and you're the one who's knocking them over.
I am gonna be an absolutely doting parent. I am gonna be the one who cries on their first day of school. Because that's me.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I have all the emotions internally.
Are you crying because you're like, finally, I can not have to deal with
No, I'm going to be crying because I'm like, why? I'm going to be crying because like, why aren't you home?
Are you kidding? He's the one who goes out to work in the studio. All my work is at home.
It's true.
Yeah.
You do cry at Fast and Furious movies. To be honest with you.
One Fast and Furious movie, thank you.
So, okay, okay, sorry.
You're good.
So this is about kids.
Your fact.
This is kids. Sorry, I think I misspoke about going to space twice. That's once. 240, I think this is back in 2014 because they cite a 2015 year car in here.
Okay.
It's about 2014, 2015.
Okay. So about 5 years.
So I would say it's $245,340 from one single child to adulthood.
Okay. So round up to 250, right?
Yeah, let's call it 250, yeah.
Okay.
And it does vary by location, like Northeast 282,000, Urban West 261, South is 230,000. So it's fairly within like $50,000, but it's still pretty high.
A good median is 250.
Yeah, per kid. So there's 25 things you can do instead of having a single child.
Can we pause on how you phrase that for a second? Not just without having a child, having a single child. Like the emphasis there was
one single child. You can go to space. Quick trip to outer space. It's about $250,000.
Okay.
Just,
well, it's about 2.5 hours of flight, and like 6 minutes of it are supposed to be spent in weightlessness.
Okay.
You can buy an above average home.
Yeah, that's true.
Depends on where you are. Not here.
No, not where we are.
We're in the Seattle area, but definitely not.
I think for that price, you'd be getting a below average home.
Yeah. You could if
We'd still be in our apartment.
Yeah.
If you were pretty, conservative with your money.
Yeah.
I always get the word frugal mixed up. I always think frugal means you're spending a bunch of it, but it's not. No. It's the other way around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always think frugal means that you're just like, you're being frugal. You're like, money. You're just throwing money around.
I'm wearing a suit made of Kindles.
Yeah, like I always. Wait.
Sidetrack.
Paperweight one? Wait.
Sidetrack.
Just Kindles.
Sidetrack. Did you know that in some legitimate food establishments they serve dinner on tablets?
Like a
real
iPad.
food on
Why?
an iPad.
Why?
I don't know.
Good God.
Is it because they want to like flaunt it?
Are they broken iPads at least?
No.
Oh my God.
Because
They're, like,
usually
actually functioning?
I've seen photos of real turned on tablets with a picture of a plate on them
Wait.
in the display.
I imagine a tablet with the plate on it. You're saying
No,
they
the
are
tablet is the plate.
artificial plate and they put the food directly on the
Yes.
tablet? What?
And you're supposed to eat off of it.
There's a subreddit for this. I think it's called We Want Plates.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Oh my God.
All right, so if you are conservative with your money, you're being frugal. Mm-hmm. $50,000 a year, 5-year sabbatical. Just take it off.
Oh, that'd be
Good
amazing.
luck. Good luck finding or getting that job back when they're
Yeah,
like, "What
yeah.
did you do for 5 years?"
Yeah, I was gonna say that would be
Where'd you
amazing, and it's like,
go?
I went backpacking around Europe.
They have good memories.
Yeah.
Number 4 is a really cool car.
That's true. A very
Mercedes
cool car.
SLS Roadster.
Yeah,
By the way, a lot
a
of
car
these
from the Fast and the Furious
you can
movies.
buy. Yep. By the way, just saying, a lot of these, by the way, are not actually that full price. So you're still having a whole bunch of money
like change
on
left
top
over,
of that.
yeah.
Yeah. You could rent a private island. You can get a week on your own fully staffed private island off the coast of Spain for $230,000. That's a week. Children are like 18, 21 years. You could, cruise around the world.
More now. 20,
Yeah,
up
now
to
they're-
25 to 27 now.
Yeah, this is a 6-year-old article, so
That's
it could
true,
be.
that's true.
So you could cruise around the world twice. 2 180-day journeys around the world
For $250.
for about $250. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So here's something that I think
I am in the. I need to find a way to make more money.
Well, so here's a thing that kind of I think varies about people who love children, and then the kind of people who love children that I am, is that like I don't want us to have kids unless we can afford it.
Right.
Yeah, I'm the same
Right?
way.
You
So-
could have one half of a child and cruise around the world once.
Exactly, right? So like that's the thing is like if we can't
I have a bad joke and I'm not gonna say it.
anyway,
I gotcha.
the current
you're
game
trying
plan.
to be. You have the means and the thought process of it is if as long as you can help it and do everything you can to try and be a little bit.
Because we don't want to sacrifice having a good life, right?
Yeah, we want to
Right.
be.
We don't
Well, you
want to
wanna make
be
sure that
miserable.
If you have a kid, you can take care
Yeah,
of
we
it.
can
Exactly.
provide
I
and
gotcha.
we can.
Yeah, so like that could change, right? So like if the world is like a total crap hole and there's
Oh,
no
we're not bringing a kid into.
exactly,
Yeah.
but like
Makes
there's
sense.
no way that we could maintain a certain quality of life
I think
and
that's
also
why
have children.
Children are a lot less common with a lot of younger couples because of that same kind of mindset
Yeah,
these days.
the attitude is changing. We don't have to like. The nuclear family isn't a thing anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could have a nuclear family or 4 tons of custom M&Ms.
All right.
8,000 pounds.
You've
I don't know what
convinced
that
me.
is in whatever other units that you use, but 4 tons.
4 tons.
Many stones.
And if you get 2 tons,
Many
you could have
stones.
somebody sort them into different color vats. So they're all separated by color.
I feel like I know what we need to do for our show. We need to swim in M&Ms.
Swim in M&Ms.
Can you swim in M&Ms?
It sounds like a Mr. Beast kind of YouTube video.
Kind of, yeah.
Because I saw them swim in those balls that inflate or whatever, in the water. You could buy, ready, a big diamond. 8-carat loose diamond to show off to your friend.
Okay, that one is so far like the weakest argument so far because like it's a
They got it
diamond.
to 25, you know?
Yeah,
You gotta get
yeah.
25. By the way, 25 is bigger than 20.
That's true.
People think, some people out there think a quarter pounder is bigger than a third pounder burger. Because 4 is greater than 3.
We really need to work on math in school.
You could buy, not for the full amount, $245,000 will get you your own 170-foot cargo ship, complete with 11 cabins and 100 metric tons of cargo capacity.
You could live on that.
You could live on that. You get a pair of thoroughbred racehorses,
Okay.
or you could just buy horses if you want to have horses.
Yeah.
$130,000, by the way. Then you'll have plenty of money. You can buy a bottle of Bordeaux from 1787 from a place that was supposedly owned by, does it say Thomas Jefferson?
Well, that decreases the value already, but
Some people not so big of a fan of
Yeah,
Thomas Jefferson.
but-
Having said that, I think 1787 bottle of Bordeaux
would be
you would never
insane.
open it.
yeah, that's a really fancy paperweight. I'm
Yep.
sorry.
You could line your walls with Picasso lino cuts.
Lino cuts.
Lino cuts.
Yeah. That's
Five
cool.
hand
That's
signed
really
color lino cuts by Pablo Picasso.
That's
on your
really
wall.
cool.
That is cool. You ready for this one?
Sure.
You ready? You could go to Disney World every day for the next 11 years.
Good.
I think as cool as that is, I think after
4,000
the
straight days.
first week, I'd be like, I'm done. I've seen it.
And then think of all the money you'll save.
That's true. Yeah, that's very true.
Spend 10 nights in the bridge suite at Atlantis.
Oh,
I read
yeah.
this, and my brain immediately thought you could pay for the ships and the planes to pull it out of the ocean, and then you could
Lost
live
City of
there. You could live there for 10 nights.
Oh, yeah. No, I forgot the Atlantis Resort was a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Bahamas, yeah.
Yeah.
Growing up, when they used to give away 10-night trips on
Right.
game shows, I was like, but what about the day? Do they have to do something during the day? Why is it only 10 nights? I don't understand. Can they not afford 24 hours?
Can they not stay there during the day?
Right.
That's
Do they
adorable.
have to leave?
Yeah, you could put a 100-inch TV in every room.
Oh, my God.
103 inches high-definition television all over your house.
That
No.
reminds me of an episode of Black Mirror that I will get into at a different time.
You want to hear the craziest thing about this, though?
Yeah.
This one's even sadder.
Okay.
$250,000, don't have a kid. Instead, you could rent an apartment in Manhattan.
Oh,
You can live in Manhattan. How good would that be?
I have some friends who live in the Manhattan area, and yep.
By the way, this is only about 5 years of doing that.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
about $4,000 a month. You could
Jeez.
attend the Super Bowl in style. You can go and get a box suite,
Yeah.
accommodate 20 of your closest friends, and offer full food service and an open bar so you can enjoy the big game in style. Although it would suck, though, because if you did drink, you would probably get a little bit inebriated, and you
Yeah.
might not enjoy it as much because you probably forget about what happened.
Can I? We have about like 10 minutes left, but can I sidetrack us for 1 second about
Yeah.
box suites?
Yeah,
I do not understand the purpose. So the purpose of going to a football game
right.
is to watch and enjoy the game, right?
Yeah.
And to actually go there is to be in the stands, to feel the energy, to get hyped with the crowd.
No, I want
It's
an
a-
apartment.
It's well, yes, but it's
Above
a
the game.
crappy experience sometimes because you're around other people, but that's part of it, right? Like, you know, you get your food, it's crowded, whatever. In a box suite, and I've been to some box suites because of some of the work I used to do. I've never actually watched a game in there, but I've been in there to like adjust cameras and things like that. You kind of see the field most of the time. Like, you can see it, but you're not like close. You watch the game more from TVs in it, and I'm like, why waste your money to
It's
go to a
business
game?
thing. It's like a business thing.
Yeah, but it's
Show
not like,
off
yeah,
or make somebody
I
feel
want-
like they're.
I want to have a business meeting above a football game.
above. It's
and I
the
want to hear
equivalent
in the
of
distance
of like.
the grunting of men.
Yeah, it's the
And the cracking of
equivalent of
helmets.
like the
You get the
Roman
tickets.
Senate having a meeting over the gladiator
There's
pit.
a divider. There's a divider between you and everybody else. So it makes you feel like you are like above. You're like you're like reigning over the masses in your box, and they can't get to you because there's a piece of glass between you and them.
Yeah, except at the same time, some little kid can just look up and give you the finger.
I mean, you can then go grab a big chunk of your chicken wing and your free beer, and you'd be like, "Hey, kid, you gonna get some of this?" No, because it costs you $15 per glass. So it sucks to be you.
I would have so much more fun messing
you're
with
not
the people.
employed.
Yeah, messing with the people in front of the glass instead of watching the game or doing anything else. Just sitting there like, I'm better than you.
You know what does it really good though? The NBA does it real good. The best seats are the ones that are right in the front row.
Yeah.
those are the
ones
ones-
where you could literally get hit.
Yeah, those are the one. That's who has it figured out.
Yeah.
Is NBA?
NBA. Yeah.
Have either of you been to the Key Arena?
Yes.
I don't even know what that is. What is
Key
that?
Arena? in
Seattle?
downtown?
It's right
No.
next to the Needle?
Oh no, I've never been there.
Have
Okay.
you've been to the Needle though, right?
I've not been inside. No,
That's fine.
I've been in the
Is-
parking lot at night.
Yeah, it's nice.
And I was like, I looked up and I was like, oh, that's neat.
Yeah, I used to work at the stadium right next to it, but yeah.
Anyway, the reason why I bring up the Key Arena is that, inversely, I got the really, really, really cheap seats to see like an orchestra one time at the Key Arena. And when they show nosebleed seats, they should more be called wish you were Spider-Man, because you're literally leaning 45 degrees over everything and you will fall.
Oh, it freaks me out. Because the stairs get so small and tiny, and you do feel like if you fell, you would just roll down all the way.
It was terrifying.
When I was, so we took a cruise for my 16th birthday, speaking of nosebleeds.
Humble brag.
No. I asked for it. We saved up for a while.
Yeah.
I asked for it because I wanted a family
brag.
vacation.
Right.
And we got to see magicians at one of the, like, they do shows and stuff.
Yeah.
And we got there a little bit later, and so we had the nosebleeds. If you ever want to prove to someone that magic isn't real, just get nosebleeds at a magician show, because we saw every trick they pulled. Like, they were good. They were good showmen and stuff, and they were, they were really nice. And they actually hung out afterwards and talked to people, because like, you're on a cruise ship, they're gonna be around.
Right.
And it was really cool. But like, yeah, we sat there and I was like,
there's the strings, I see him.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I can see him crawling out of the box, like into the stage and stuff like that. But what made it better is that was that night. And then the next night there was a comedian, and we were like, oh, we'll go see the comedian. The opening act for the comedian was the same guys, but they were no longer magicians. They were the Flying Spartans. So these guys were both ripped. Like, they were brothers. They were ripped, and 300 had just taken the world by storm over like the previous like year or two.
Yeah.
And they came out in the 300 garb.
No.
The leather Speedos,
Yeah, I was
the
going to
red
say,
cape.
sorry, garb. It's a towel.
Oiled
underwear.
up muscle, fake spears, one of which that broke on stage.
Very nice.
And they did an aerial silk routine. And for like this time, we did not have the nosebleeds. We were like second row. And we're sitting there just like, I am getting drenched in baby oil right now because it's flying. Because they're like, doing the thing and they're swinging over.
That's gross.
It is. And then the comedian comes out and he goes, well, that was unexpected, because he didn't know what they were gonna do. It was his first week on the cruise. He had just started doing it. He's like, that's my opening act for the next 6 months.
When I was when I was younger, we took some trips here and there. And
Right.
I remember we were in Vegas?
Yeah.
Or no, actually, I think it was Hawaii. Maybe I can't remember. I was actually really fortunate. I went to Hawaii when I was super young.
I would love to go one day.
And actually, it's insanely cheap from here
Really?
in comparison
Yeah,
to where
'cause-
I used,
yeah,
where I
that
used
makes
to
sense.
live. It was a big deal. A lot of time off. Plus the flights and all that were a lot of money.
Right, it makes sense.
Here it's actually more affordable than where I used to live. So anyways, there was a chance to go to a show, and it was either. What's the magician's name? Not David Copperfield. Lance. Hold on. Magician. Not Lance Bass.
I was thinking like, why was I thinking David Blaine? Who's
Lance Burton, I think. It was Lance Burton.
Lance Burton. Okay.
Lance Burton. You could see Lance Burton, or, you ready for this?
Okay.
George Carlin.
George, what?
What?
I said I want to see George Carlin, and then my family was like, "You're too young to see George Carlin," so I didn't get to see George Carlin.
my
I got to see
God.
Lance Burton instead, and I was so mad because
Oh
when
my God, I would be so
I was
upset.
pretty young, but still.
Still, to see George Carlin on stage would have
Yeah.
been fantastic.
Yeah, I was very upset later on once I then definitely realized, and then he
Yeah.
passed away, and I was like, eh.
Yeah. First host of Saturday Night Live ever. Like,
Yeah.
Was he really?
Yeah, he was the first host, and oh my God, you watch his opening thing. It's just like 15 minutes of stand up. It's not a monologue. It's just came out and did stand up, and it's amazing.
You know what else is amazing?
What's that?
You can spend that money instead of having kids and get 10,500 7-ounce private reserve filet mignon from Omaha Steaks.
I don't want my meat shipped to me in a box.
You probably just go to the restaurant and get it. You can buy enough gas to drive around the Earth 66 times.
Good Lord.
All right. So on that note, I think it's about time we wrap up.
Sure. I was actually thinking the same thing, but I wanted to just before we go, do you guys have anything awesome to share besides your?
Well, I
kid
did
facts?
have one more I want to share.
Okay.
There was a few in there. They're okay. They're just buying a bunch of stuff. But I just want to point out that instead of having actual children, you could fill your yard with children made of bronze instead.
I gander out onto my field of bronze children.
I think we all can all know, though, the space one is very...
The space one
very
is
cool.
probably the best one. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
bronze
that's definitely
children
the most
last longer.
appealing.
Oh God, I'm looking at this picture now, and I'm just like, this isn't
I
a,
hate that.
Yeah, this is a horrible thing. I don't want this in my yard. this looks.
It's very.
Yeah,
The M&Ms sound like the best choice.
the M&Ms in the space one for sure. And
So I didn't want.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
I wanted to get that one out there because that one's really important.
it is. But I feel like we should end the episodes on something very positive because
Oh, that wasn't positive?
I mean, I guess.
Don't have
Am I not
kids,
being
have bronze
positive?
children.
No, you're being positive. I'm just
Okay.
saying, we want to leave people better than where they were. Hopefully, you
Sure.
know?
Heartwarming note.
Leave it better than you found it.
Exactly. And if
Pick
we
up your
can,
trash.
hopefully people have been, enjoying this and, they're having a laugh. We are trying to minimize how much time we're doing on these episodes because the last ones have been a little bit longer. But just any final notes of awesome, maybe something you've gotten to do in the last, month, or maybe something you've seen that you want to share with people, anything like that.
It rained.
It rained. It did
It
rain.
did rain. It was
I love.
nice.
Yeah, I love rain.
Yeah.
Absolutely love rain because I don't have seasonal affect disorder, so that's why it doesn't bother me as much as somebody else. So
No, that works.
I
though.
love rain, and it started raining, and it's actually looking forward to having weather soon.
Yes.
I like
This
the
is-
smell of autumn,
Yes. Oh my
Yes.
God.
Halloween.
Yes.
Everything
Halloween.
looks great.
Michael's
Coming soon.
Oh no, I'm not gonna say the Michael's thing because that might be something that Gray wants to talk about. I don't know what yours is gonna be, but
Do you want to go to Michael's with us after we're done
Uh,
today?
Sure.
Michael's
They
has
have
their
Halloween stuff.
already out.
Nice.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can find some props.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
let's do it.
I like going to stores with other people like you.
Yeah.
And just
We'll make sure to bring our
bumping
kids.
around in there. Don't
Yeah, me
kidding.
too. I really like doing that too.
Don't bring your children.
No, we don't have kids. We
You
bring
can bring
the
your
cats.
cat on a leash.
Okay. I want to get one of those bubble backpacks for our cats.
Same.
Yeah, but so speaking of rain, actually, that was going to be my something awesome. Is so
You stole mine.
no. More specifically, we were sitting on the couch the other night, and it thundered.
yeah.
There was a couple really. And for anybody listening, that might not seem like a big deal depending on where you are, but
It doesn't do that here, hardly ever.
It doesn't. And Gray and I are both from the South, and thunderstorms are a really big thing in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm from Florida.
yeah, so you really, yeah,
It's not the South.
it's part of the South. This is the
It's,
South.
it's physically there in the South, but it's not the South.
Yes. Okay. But I grew Texas summer. You had thunderstorms,
Yep.
and it's something that you don't realize you miss until you've left it for a while.
Yeah.
And I've had some heavy stuff happen this year, and it was just a nice remembrance of home in that moment. We just kind of both sat there and again, we were watching TV or whatever, and you hear
pause the television
yeah,
show.
and we just listened for 5 minutes because it
It's
was
no media, nothing. You just took the weather and took nature.
exactly,
in.
and
There
it
you
was wonderful. And I encourage anybody out there, if you have something like that, definitely pause your show.
This
Just
is
sit
the
for
end of a
minute.
Disney movie. We end these they're so what did we learn today? We learned that weather and nature is fantastic, and you should appreciate it too, and you should take care of it
You should.
like a little bunny.
Like a little bunny.
Gray, do you have anything that you want to?
Our crops are flourishing, literally, on our balcony.
Oh yes, that's true.
Nice.
Flourishing. And I don't know, some lady who I follow and feel a connection with, who was infertile for 15 years, finally got pregnant.
Nice.
So
That's really cool.
following her stuff has been really just
You say following, my brain immediately thought you were physically following somebody and just watching over their shoulder.
She does live in the same state as us.
There you
Yeah.
go.
So I could if I wanted to.
That does remind me, by the way. You say crops. I cut some fresh basil off of my own basil plant and put it in
Nice.
food, and it
Oh,
was good. So there you go.
yeah.
It was fantastic.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Yes.
nature.
Well, I think that is a good place to wrap it up. If you guys have bits of awesome that you want to share with us, us, and you can always do that, as well as send questions to theroasto@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you guys. We would love to hear your feedback. If you have questions for us that you want us to read out, would absolutely love that. I want to give a big thank you to Jesse, I believe is the name. A friend of Darkosto's created our new ending theme for the podcast. And
Jesse's awesome.
And it is absolutely fantastic. I absolutely love it. And so from now on, you're going to hear that as the ending theme. And actually, I think it's the opening theme for the audio version as well. So,
nice.
Thank you so much for that. And, we'll give you a shout out every time for that because you're just awesome. Do you know, does Jesse do this for a living?
Nope. It's a fun hobby that he has. He loves
rad.
music.
That's
we actually went to school for music together. So
that's
he
cool.
just has a really big foundation of that, and he just loves to do it.
Nice. Well, thank you so much. We really do appreciate it. And from myself, from Darkosto, from TheInevitableGrey, we want to say thank you so much for listening. Please follow us on social. Please like the video on YouTube because it lets us know that you guys are liking this. And because I promised I would do it. Yes, Darkosto, thank you so much for hanging out today. And I love the look of disappointment on Grey's face. We'll see you next time, y'all.
Goodbye.